How much would you compromise to save your life? Would you sacrifice a core belief for a moment of safety? Or is there a line you would never cross, even if the price of drawing it was instant, agonizing death? This is the non-negotiable choice presented to three young men in the world's most powerful empire. The setting is Babylon, the great city of gold, ruled by the fiercely proud King Nebuchadnezzar. After conquering all his enemies, he suffered from one flaw. His colossal ego demanded not just obedience, but worship. To cement this demand, he built the ultimate political and religious statement, a colossal image of pure gold, stretching 90 feet into the sky on the vast, empty plain of Dura. This was the king's new god, and every official, governor, and subject in the empire had to worship it. The decree was absolute, simple, and deadly. The moment the royal orchestra sounded a loud, intricate mix of cornets, flutes, harps, and dulcimers, everyone must fall down and worship the image. Failure to obey meant one thing: being thrown immediately into a burning, fiery furnace. The day arrived. The air on the plain of Dura was thick with anticipation. The officials of the empire from every tribe, tongue, and nation were assembled. When the king's signal was given, the music erupted in a deafening, unified burst of sound. It was the ultimate moment of political pressure and collective fear. Thousands upon thousands dropped instantly to the earth, their foreheads pressed into the dust, paying homage to the power of Babylon. But in that vast, subservient crowd, three figures stood completely still, upright and resolute: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These three men were Jewish exiles, promoted to high office by the king himself, but they served a higher law, the unwavering command against idolatry. They stood alone, a silent, defiant challenge to the king's ultimate authority. Their act was instantly noticed, not by the king but by jealous Chaldean officials. These men despised the successful foreigners and seized the opportunity to destroy them. They rushed into the court, their accusations dripping with malice, seeking to inflame the king's pride. "O king, live forever. There are certain Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image you have set up." Nebuchadnezzar was consumed by a blinding personal rage. This was not just disobedience, this was a personal insult from men he had trusted and promoted. He was furious that they had dared to challenge his power on the very day he proclaimed his supremacy. In his wrath, he commanded the men to be brought before him instantly. The three men were ushered in, facing the embodiment of the most powerful empire on earth. The king, attempting to control his fury, gave them one last chance, a final lifeline thrown over the precipice of execution. "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods? I will give you one more opportunity. If you are ready, when the music plays, you will bow down and worship the image I have made. If you do not, you shall be cast immediately into the midst of the burning, fiery furnace." Then came the king's ultimate, arrogant challenge, the question that sealed his own fate: "And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands?" The three men stood still. They offered no desperate plea, no apology, and no excuse. Their reply was a quiet, firm masterpiece of faith, delivered straight into the king's incandescent gaze. "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer you in this matter." Daniel 3:16. "We don't need to debate this. Our decision is final." They stated their confidence in God's ability. "Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning, fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king." Daniel 3:17. But they then added the statement that defined their loyalty, a phrase so powerful it stripped the requirement of a miracle. "But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image which you have set up." Daniel 3:18. Whether they lived or died was entirely secondary. Their loyalty to God was absolute, independent of the outcome. The king's rage, already monumental, now became a destructive physical force. He commanded the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than its ordinary working temperature. The furnace roared, the metal walls shimmered with white-hot intensity, and plumes of searing heat poured from the opening. The king's strongest men, the mightiest soldiers, were ordered to bind the 3 men and cast them into the flames. They did so fully clothed, bound by thick ropes. The heat was so overwhelming, so violently consuming, that the very soldiers who carried them were instantly killed by the flames that licked outward from the mouth of the furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell down into the middle of the raging fire. The execution was complete. But then King Nebuchadnezzar, watching the terrible scene, was seized by terror and astonishment. He leaped to his feet and cried out to his counselors, his voice ragged with disbelief, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" "True, O king," they affirmed. "Look," the king exclaimed, pointing. "I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God." The sight defied all natural law. The ropes that bound them were burned away, freeing them. The fire which had killed their executioners now served as a gentle light. They were walking, unharmed, accompanied by a divine figure, right in the heart of the inferno. Nebuchadnezzar, the man who dared to challenge God, ran to the mouth of the fiery furnace and cried out with a newfound humility, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come forth and come here." As they stepped out of the flames, the king's entire court, the princes, governors, and counselors gathered to examine the 3 men. They saw the impossible miracle. The fire had not singed a hair on their heads, their clothes were completely undamaged, and perhaps the most important detail of all, they did not even smell of smoke. The fire had done nothing but eliminate the ropes that bound them. The king, utterly humbled, made a second, sweeping decree. Any nation or language that dared to speak anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be cut in pieces. The confrontation ended in a total reversal of power. The 3 men who were willing to die for their faith were promoted to even greater status in the kingdom of Babylon. The flames of persecution did not destroy them. They merely destroyed their bonds and elevated their testimony. The greatest lesson of the fiery furnace is that when you refuse to compromise your loyalty, God will personally step into the fire to walk with you.